Hey, MetaliCoin community. My name is Rishi Kerr, Associate Director at MetaliCoin. As you know, we've been going through our pre-ICO round of funding, and we've had quite a few questions coming from people, and we thought we'd address them head on. So with you, we have founder of MetaliCoin, Jeremy Samuel.
Hey, Rishi.
Jeremy, first question coming from our community. Few people are saying, I'm not interested in mining. Why should I care about mining or MetaliCoin?
Fair enough. Obvious question. I guess the initial answer is maybe you just care about making investments in interesting things and growing your wealth. And let's not forget, metals are the basis of our whole technological society. And yet most people really don't have access to them, don't invest in them. And, mining itself is a fascinating industry, but it's often out of the way. Mines are in the bush, they're a long way away, people don't see them. So, unless there's an accident or a problem, people don't really know about them. But it's a fascinating industry, and it's, as I said before, it's an industry that supports our whole technological society. So, interesting space, space that once people start hearing about, they love to learn about, and also with the ability to trade metals without being involved with a huge margin account with a big investment bank or global trading house is a great way to speculate.
Jeremy, next question. What do you mean that money is backed by real metal? Can you explain how the value of MetaliCoin will be determined?
Sure. So money that's issued by governments, US dollars, Aussie yen, it's really backed by nothing. It's backed by the faith and confidence of the government. And even the cryptocurrencies that we're also excited about, like Dash, Ethereum, Litecoin, even Bitcoin, they're backed by an algorithm, but they're not backed by anything solid. MetaliCoin, on the other hand, will have an underpinning of physical metal. So, in fact, I'm just placing the first order today, now that we've started bringing some capital in, for some gold, silver, and platinum that we're going to vault, and that will back the MetaliCoin that we're issuing. So if somebody's holding MetaliCoin, they can contact us and say, look, I want my metal. And they can trade in their MetaliCoins, and we'll calculate the value and send them the metal. So it's actually just like banking was before the end of the gold standard in the 70s, where people would literally take 35 US dollars to the bank and get an ounce of gold. And we want to go back to that because we think it's much more solid money.
Right. So follow-up question on that, Jeremy, then. Does it mean that MetaliCoin cannot be manipulated by, pump and dumpers as we see at the moment in the crypto space and market manipulation?
Look, it's going to be harder to manipulate because unlike fiat currency that governments manipulate or bracket steal from us by printing more and more of it every day to fund their bloated budgets, there's a fixed supply of MetaliCoins. There'll only ever be 300 million, and we can't issue any more. And yeah, as I said before, unlike other cryptocurrencies, it'll be harder to manipulate because you'll have that underlying value of the metals. And their pricing comes from global trading exchanges that are very deep, very liquid, and there's a spot price that anybody can see. So it is going to be a lot harder to manipulate. I never say something can never be done because that just encourages hackers and scammers to do it, but it'll certainly be a lot harder. So it'll be a much more solidly backed cryptocurrency.
Right. So something else that our investors would like to know, and you're much closer to it with your experience in mining and capital raising. So why would miners choose to come on board with the MetaliCoin platform?
Sure, and look, there's a range of reasons, but first and foremost, and I can tell you this because I've been actually raising money for unlisted mines for the last several years. Raising money for early stage mines is really, really hard. Whereas with MetaliCoin, once the platform's up and running, it'll be a lot faster, a lot easier, and they'll have access to a global pool of money. Moreover, the money they get will be the most cost-effective funding really that they can get anywhere. And we've done comparisons against every other form of funding. And MetaliCoin over the life of a mine will cost them a lot less and will be very, very efficient way of raising capital. I guess also for the good miners, the fact that we have external experts verifying all their information, the fact that they'll have milestones they'll have to prove they've achieved to draw down funds, and the fact that they'll have ongoing interaction with the coin holders, it creates a lot of accountability and visibility. And as I said, the good operators will really welcome that. Will actually give them a lot more engagement with their investors than they previously had. And then, of course, the fact that we'll have really strong policies around anti-child labor, anti-slavery, anti-conflict metals, and looking at environmental standards and all these things will actually appeal again to a lot of the good miners. And I guess the final thing is that we'll be scouring the world and partnering with best of breed technologies, whether it's AI and data analytics, machine learning, drones, sensors, the whole range of tools that I guess the big guys have access to, but often smaller miners don't. And we're going to be bringing them to all of our clients and funders. So overall, they're going to get funded quicker at lower cost. They'll get access to lots of great tools, and they'll be working in a really accountable and transparent way. So we think that it's pretty compelling.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, and now, so MetaliCoin's been in development for more than 12 months, and you've been around the world spruiking and discussing with miners. What kind of commitment or discussions have you had with miners from these conversations that you've had?
Yeah, look, the mining companies we've spoken to, ones that are listed, small cap miners, and also unlisted ones, are very excited about it. We've got a number of mines already committed in Australia, Canada, New Zealand. You can read about some of them in our white paper. What we've also got, which makes it quite efficient, is a network of people who deal with mines, whether they're corporate advisory people, whether they're investor relations, and a range of other people who have mining projects coming to them all the time, and they're going to feed us projects because they just love MetaliCoin, and of course they'll be incentivized to do it. And I have been at mining conferences, and Rishi, you've been at some with me, so you've seen the reaction. But the miners just love the idea of it. It just makes sense to them to pre-sell some of their production and get on board. So yeah, the miners we've spoken to are very excited, and I think we'll have a great portfolio of mines across multiple jurisdictions and multiple currencies. And I think it'd be very exciting.
So another question is, so the cryptocurrency space, the blockchain space, it's a moving space at the moment. What about the legalities and how MetaliCoin fits in the current international mining regulations and capital raisings?
Yeah. So look, we're going to spend a lot on lawyers, is the short answer, and we've already engaged lawyers in Australia and Gibraltar, and we'll get the absolute best legal advice that we can around capital raising regs, around making sure that people comply with their mining licenses. So that'll certainly be all around the so-called KYC, know your customer stuff, that make sure that it's anti-money laundering provisions, counter-terrorist financing provisions, and also, as I mentioned before, just making sure that that people comply with the conventions around avoiding child labor, conflict metals, modern slavery provisions. That stuff's really important to us. We only want to deal with ethical miners who are doing the right thing, and also make sure that everything we're doing is well within regulatory guidelines. So that's just a given. I come from a background of being in gold refining, and it was the same thing. You get offered stuff from all sorts of places all the time, and whilst it's hard to say no to business, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Okay. So another question. So for those who've read the white paper, they'd also understand that one of the key features of the ecosystem is that there'll be a MetaliCoin and there'll be a project coin. Do you mind just going and explain the difference between those two things?
Sure. We've got to get a better name than Project Coin, so it's open to the community to come up with suggestions. But basically, MetaliCoin is the base currency of our platform. So you'll, and as I said, it will be backed by a basket of metals. And some people may just want to hold MetaliCoin because they like the coin and think that the metal's value and the coin value may appreciate. But really what it's used for initially is to buy metals from the mining projects, and then to also eventually over time be able to buy services, whether it's mining services for the miners or even sort of financial services like hedging and insurance for the metals projects themselves. Whereas a coin issued by a project is a representation of a right to a specific amount of a specific metal for delivery at a defined time. So, for example, if you look at North Pole Mining, they've got a fantastic mine that they want to develop up above the Arctic Circle in Canada. So their coins, each coin would represent 1 ounce of gold, which say is currently trading at about 1,325 US dollars an ounce. Their delivery is probably not out till June 2019. So given all the factors, it might be a 60% discount to spot that they would sell the coins at. So, you could buy one of their coins today. Essentially, you'd be buying gold at 795 an ounce, but it's not going to be delivered for 18 months. Now, we go 12 months forward and say they progressed, done a bunch of exploration, proved up the resource. Maybe the discount's only 25%. So in 12 months, you might see the value of that coin at, say, $993, even if the gold price doesn't move. Of course, if the gold price goes up, then it's worth more. If it goes down, it's worth a little bit less. But that's a project coin. Now, the whole benefit of those project coins, as opposed to buying physical metal, is that you can go onto the crypto metal exchange. If you've got a gold coin that's, say, trading at some discount to $1,325, but you think copper is going to go up, it's currently, say, at 7,133 a ton, and each coin might be representing 100 kilos. So basically, if you do the math, one gold project coin is worth about 1.86 copper coins. So you can go into the marketplace and make an offer to buy copper, say, at 1.9 per gold coin. If somebody wants to sell, it makes a match, and you can do the exchange. So you'd end up with, say, close to 2 copper coins representing 100 kilos of copper each for delivery in 6 months, and you've sold your gold coin. So the project coins, as I said, represent actual metal, real claim on metal, either that's going to be produced or that's sitting in a vault. And you can trade those, and of course you can trade them back into MetaliCoin, and if you want to, you could trade those MetaliCoin for Bitcoin on an exchange, or back out for fiat currency, although I keep wondering why people want to hold that. But anyway, so hopefully that clarifies. MetaliCoin, overall coin, project coins, actual claim on metal, a certain amount from a certain mine that can be delivered at a certain time.
Yeah. So a follow-up question from that. So we understand that the MetaliCoin is backed by the commodities of metal in the whole MetaliCoin basket and ecosystem. What's going to determine the price of the project coin and discount you spoke about as well?
Sure. So the basis will be the spot price, which is a world price you can look up on multiple places. Again, a bit hard to manipulate. The discount will be determined by an algorithm really based on time, how long till delivery, and then also with factors like how volatile is that particular metal price. Are there any particular jurisdictional risks in the area, where the mine is, in the country where the mine is, and also the reputation of the producers. So people that have successfully done past projects will have a better reputation. They'll get a slightly lower discount. That'll all be factored into the initial price that the coins are offered at, and then people will trade, and find a market price based on that input, and then what people think on the project itself, and on the metals. And for the MetaliCoin itself, well, as I said, there'll be a basket of metals underpinning the value, and any premium on that, it's a supply and demand thing. The fixed supply of MetaliCoin, as with most cryptocurrencies. So as we get more projects, more trades, more service providers accepting MetaliCoin, should increase demand. Supply is fixed. Hopefully most of you can work out the market dynamic that should generate.
Okay, so one final question for this round of Q&A. Again, for those who've read the white paper would know that MetaliCoin addresses that there's an issue with metal storage. Do you mind explaining what this issue is and how MetaliCoin is actually addressing it?
Yeah, sure. It's simple. Basic rule. If you can't access it, you don't own it. You may think you own it, but you don't. And unfortunately, a lot of depositories around the world are actually very hard to access. And even very large ones do some strange and interesting things. I don't know if anyone recalls, but a couple of years ago, the Germans asked for quite a few tons of metal back that the Americans supposedly were storing for them. It took the Americans a couple of years to find it all. And there was also, about 3 years ago, there was a multi-$100 million issue where an industrial metals storage facility on a port in China seems to have sold the same physical metals up to 7 or 8 times, which is not great practice, as you can imagine from a due diligence point of view, Rishi, with your financial background. I think you can see the problems in that immediately, especially when multiple people come to request delivery at the same time, and nobody can prove ownership. So the storage facilities we're going to be setting up and using will all be based on the latest technology. First of all, it'll all be blockchain based. It'll be one for one. It'll be based on biometric sensors for access, robotic handling for most of the metals, and cameras. So you'll actually be able to physically inspect your metal anytime remotely, or go there and see it. And as I said, if you want to take it, once it's in storage, you'll be able to do that and just cash in your coins. So we think it's really a much better way of doing metal storage, and we wouldn't be surprised if the whole industry moves in this direction.
Yeah. Before I throw it back to you, Jeremy, for some final words, I'd just like to again reach out to the MetaliCoin community and encourage you all to engage with us, to send us questions. If you have any questions, please send us an email at info@metalicoin.com. We're more than happy to address them. Follow our blog posts consistently. Anything that comes up, we're happy to address you. So, Jeremy, throwing it back to you for some final words.
Rishi, I think that was a great summary. So just remember, MetaliCoin is money backed by real metals, the way it used to be. And as Rishi said, please engage with us. We do have our pre-sale going at the moment, so if you want to get some MetaliCoins early, please feel free to do that and send us any questions. And if you stayed on the video for this long, then thanks so much for your support. Have a good one.